Alright, and we are back. So let's jump into the next 10 provinces or so and see how that would go. Remember that in the first 20, the first 10 provinces were kind of special cases, so only 10 to 20 were roughly the same. So here from 21 to 30 we'll get the same matchups on average than we had from 10 to 20, from 11 to 20. Except that the squad sizes are significantly higher. So let's just get into it. So 21. Yep, drone riders, as you can see. I'll try to go a bit faster here, even though I'm already moving as fast as I can basically click here. So for mages to counters, that's forest wardens. Not too bad, but again, we are taking some losses there as well. Okay, more mages than light range, that's Cerberus. Yep, quite a bit of losses there as well. That would be our strategists. Light range and a little bit of heavy range. And these are the good encounters. That's the ones who are actually saving some troops right there. Okay. Yeah, and again, that's pure light range. That's strategists all day, every day. And they work excellent here. Probably the only matchup when we can save that in this tournament. Again, strategists do very well. And yeah, that's this sketchy matchup where I find that the Forest Warden do better. And they did alright. Okay, again, here we have... no, wait. Here we go with the strategists, because no country units. So was pretty right. Okay, so let's see. Yep, so here we go, drone riders. More light range than mages. They did alright. Here, yeah, I'm going Cerberus this time because of the counter unit. Yep, that was fine. That's the drone riders, mostly light range. Yep, and they're taking some losses again. That's the terrain thing, most likely, because normally they would be taking somewhat less damage than that. But yeah, that's the thing with melee. If you're screwed on the terrain, yeah, even the very strong units and very, very strong units against, yeah, you can get smashed if they just get stuck there. That's the melee for you. So drone riders, more light range. I did alright, or more like meeting expectations. Let's put like that. Okay, 24. Okay, that's our strategist matchup. Mostly light range, just a little bit of heavy range, and they did very well there. That's our Cerberus matchup, because more mages than light range. And that's the drone riders, just light range and a little bit of mages. And they did very well there, because no counter units. And yeah, that's the weird matchup with Forest Wardens. So 2 mages, 2 light range, and 3 heavy range. Yeah, they did take some punishment. Not too much, but yeah, that's a Scrolls tournament for you. Okay, that's our Banshee setup. So 2 mages, 2 heavy range, and 1 counter. That's the strategists. Pure light range would work really well. Yep. What do we have here? We have strategists again. No counter units for them there. And here we'll go with our acrobats because no counter units and a balanced mage and light range. And you see they did very well here. It's the counter units, like the heavy range in this case, that really smash them if present. But if not, they do alright. Okay, our drone rider set up, only one counter unit, 2 mages, and the rest light range, so they did alright. Similar setup, drone range riders. Not bad. Okay, yeah, that's in this encounter, that's the guy who kills your acrobats. Yeah, and it's great against light melee, so that's exactly what it does. But Cerberus do quite alright there, all things considering. Drone riders. And 97. Okay, we are halfway through by now in our 50 province goal. But remember, that's just 2-star. In order to get there, you need to do at least 50 on the 1-star, and if you want to go further, 3, 4, 5 stars and whatnot, yeah, that might take some time. Yeah, that was a decent matchup for benches. And again, here's we can throw some acrobats again, and they should do all right. Yep, not bad. Okay, that's our drone riders, mostly light range, some mages. Like so. Yep. Drone riders. Not bad. Not the greatest, but well, not terrible. Benches. Okay, again, that's our remaining acrobat matchup. And that works reasonably well. And that's our, okay. So just one point what I want to make. So you see here we have basically 5 units that drone riders are strong against, and 1 where they're weak, and that happens to be the heavy range, which is particularly strong against light melee. You can go here, the strategists, which would be almost the same. They would be very good against light range. They would be okay against heavy range, and they would be weak, just again 1 against the abbots, who are not specialists there. But the thing is, they would take higher losses than I would like. It's a doable matchup, but I tend to conserve my orc strategists. The reason being that I don't produce them in the training grounds, because that requires, well, orcs as an input. And orcs available, I don't have enough for all the upgrades and whatnot. So I only get them from the grounds of the orc strategists. Well, brown bears, but that's not a lot. So if I get comparable results from something which is orc strategist and something which is not, something where I can just produce using regular supplies, like drone riders, I'd pick the unit that I can produce just with supplies, because I can supplies are basically free at that point in time for me, so I can produce them as much as I need to, while strategists are potentially constrained by the amount of orcs that are available. So I only like to go orc strategies for the surefire scenarios, like pure light range or almost pure light range, and very few counter units, because they also tend to be squishy. And with counter units, or even with the comparables, if there are more than one, they tend to take some substantial losses. Again, depends on your boosts in terms of the health and whatnot, but that's what I noticed. So hence I go in some encounters that look doable with strategies, I go with drone riders, because the results, in all fairness, would be roughly comparable, probably slightly better for strategists, but it's harder to get them for me in this city. So there's that. Alright, so that's our Forest Warden setup. And that did quite alright. That is a Drone Rider setup. No weaknesses here. Yeah, we still take some losses because, well, that's what happens when you go against light range in general, no matter which unit you go with, because they would go first, most likely, and they're gonna smash you. Maybe for more or less, but that's gonna happen. Unless you're, of course, an orc strategist who has, check that out, has 80% damage reduction against light range. So yeah, it's gonna get hit here, but you know that the tough guys, they don't really care. Yeah, as you can see. And then with the next attempt, well, they're just gonna smash them back and they're gonna melt. So that's the story of the orc strategists. Alright, so here's our province number 30. And drone riders, good setup for them, no weaknesses, still quite a few losses. That's our Cerberus setup, more mages. And that's our Forest Warden setup. Then there's a lot of mages and a little bit of heavy ranged. So yeah, like some people would go here Cerberus. That would not be a great idea. Cerberus would work okay, again not outstandingly so, against mages. And then they're getting smashed with the orc deserters because they're good against light melee. And look at that, they're 80% extra damage and 70% damage reduction for your Cerberus. So yeah, no. And those guys completely kill the mages right away. And the orc deserters, well, yeah, they're not as good. Definitely against light melee. They would be taking pot shots from the distance, both unit types, and the Forest Wardens are going to prevail easy. Not so with Cerberus. Okay, that's this strategist setup. And that was pretty good. Alright, so now we've got another 10. So we went from province 20 to province number 30. So let's check how did we do. Remember the first 20? We've lost about 50 squads across the board. So what did we get here? Well, what do you know? We actually lost a little bit less than in the first 20, not by much. So we lost about 40, 46, 47 squads, so pretty comparable. But that's just 10 provinces, not 20. So basically so far, up to province number 30, we wasted pretty close to 100 squads. So think about that if you are short on troops. That's the kind of losses that you can definitely see, and we are certainly not done yet. I can tell you that with the first, look Well, we can get back to that, so then I can tell you, like, for the 1-star and 2-star 250 how much we're gonna lose in total. But so far I may make cut here or not, and we'll get back to the next 10 provinces and we'll see how well we're gonna do there. So see you in a bit. Alright, so let's get back to provinces 31 to 40, so the next 10. And again, the matchups are all repeatable from the previous ones. So nothing exactly new, just a repetition. So that's drone riders. That would be banshees, 2 mages, 2 heavy range. It's not too bad. That's our acrobat setup. And drone riders again. Not bad. Oops. 32. Yeah, that's our excellent matchup with strategies. That's basically as good as it gets in pretty much all the matchups out there. Alright, strategists again. That is our forest warden. So 2 mages, 2 light range, 3 heavy range. That's one which is somewhat non-intuitive, but experimentally that seems to be working better. And that's the strategist matchup again. Light range and heavy range. Alright. Drone riders. Not bad. That's banshees, 2 mages, 2 heavy range, 1 counter. And they did alright. Quite alright. That's our acrobats. They should do okay here. Yep, not too shabby. Our throwaway unit. That's the drone riders again. Yeah, wasn't that great. But yeah, that happens for sure. And wait, where is that? Yep, 34. Strategists would work wonders against light range. Again, mostly light range and just 1 heavy range. Another strategist matchup. And another quite successful encounter. Yep, that's our forest warden. 2 mages, 2 light ranges, 3 heavy ranges. Yep. Taking some losses even with the forest wardens. And yep, another strategist matchup. And they did very well again. And because I'm using them in such a good matchups for them, my losses and necessity to rebuild the stocks for the strategists are fairly low. So that's good. As I said, these are valuable troops for me. Again, strategists did excellent. Okay, so that's our Cerberus matchup. More mages than light range. And here we have drone riders again. And no counter units, so they should do alright. Okay, yep, that's our weird Forest Warden matchup. 2 mages, 2 light range, 2 heavy range. Oh, just missed. Alright. Yep, that's our drone riders again. Only 1 counter unit for them. Not too bad. Again, as soon as you have counter units there, then yeah, you're gonna be taking losses. I mean, even without them, you're gonna be taking losses, but with counter units, you'll get more losses. And significantly. So yep, we are not taking that bait again, we're going with Cerberus. Because of the 1 counter unit. Yeah, even Cerberus did take quite a few losses there. Again, in that matchup, that's quite possible. You can do, well, you certainly can do like Forest Wardens. They also won't be amazing. Again, they would do alright. Would they do better or worse? Yeah. I tend to, well, at least again at that stage, they tend to take quite heavy casualties in this matchup. So like light melee is also taking heavy casualties, but yeah, that's kind of expected. Again, things could be different if you can field more light range damage boosters, let's say. But I just can't afford to do them in all the tournaments that actually may benefit from that, because, well, every single one can benefit from them, really, and there's just not enough available. So I had to stick with where is the best value. And for this tournament, the good value is to go drone riders. Even though we're gonna lose a lot. Yep, and again, here we go with the Cerberus. Like 1 mage, 1 light range, 1 heavy range. Yep, this time it wasn't too bad. And it's a drone rider's time. More light range than mages. Alright. So 37, 38. Okay, that's our infrequent Banshee setup. 2 mages, 2 heavy range, and 1 counter, and they do quite alright there. That's our favorite, or at least my favorite matchup, and that's the strategist versus light range, getting destroyed. Very similar, but we'll take a bit more losses. Like so, still nothing compared to the usual losses in this tournament. And we throw some acrobats in there, which would do actually very well. Probably fairly open field in terms of the terrain. Okay, 39. Yep, 1. Oh no, sorry, that's a different one. So that's 2 light range, 1 heavy range. Usually go with, yeah, that's actually worked fairly well, but often you would see higher losses than that. I mean, you certainly win that with strategies, but you may take higher losses than that. Okay, drone riders and more drone riders. And do we have more drone riders? No. No, we do not. We go with Forest Wardens and destroy the mages. Yep. Alright, and here comes our province number 40. So, what do we have here? Drone riders. And banshees. Because 2 mages, 2 heavy range. And that's a good setup for them. Again, that will get worse in the high star encounters, but you would still win them at that stage, maybe until 6 stars. That's when it gets pretty sketchy. Yep, acrobats. Definitely don't use acrobats even for the easy encounters in 5 star and 6 star, because that's quite likely not going to work, even without country units. Alright, so we're at 40 provinces in 2 stars. So we've got another 10. And let's see how did we do. And okay, so this time around we are up to 72 squads in losses just for 10 provinces from 31 to 40. And yeah, that's a lot. And as you can probably imagine, we're not done quite yet, so the losses for 41 to 50 would be even higher, most likely. But we'll find out in a bit. So let's just jump into provinces 41 to 50. And that's gonna be our last 10 provinces for 2 stars. And then we'll see how did we do in total. Alright, that's our Cerberus matchup. And again, as you can see, at least the way I play, quite commonly the Scrolls tournament is known to be a Cerberus tournament. But the way, again, I play, I almost, well, I use them as you just saw, but very infrequently actually. So again, for me, I still go with light melee mostly, but that's drone riders, not Cerberus. And while I can still make some, well, we can argue about, well, are there better options between drone riders and, let's say, light range? Because light range can be fairly effective here. I have tried to do drone riders versus drone riders versus Cerberus in this tournament, and I can tell you again, with the boost I have, the level of development I am here, drone riders just win. They just do better. I mean, again, outside of the few encounters or matchups that I just shown, where I actually do use them. In the rest, if I'll just spam Cerberus and all the places where I use drone riders, my losses would be significantly higher, not to mention that I'll probably lose quite a few of these encounters. And again, the reason being, like, yeah, you see, like, the vast majority of encounters in Scrolls, you will have way more light range than mages, and Cerberus are not good against light range. They're just not. They're not specialists. They're actually worse. I mean, worse as in nominally worse than just a regular barracks unit. But they're not great, certainly not great against light range. They're pretty decent against mages, not the best against pure mage, but still. These guys are best against pure mage. Forest Warriors. So yeah, that's what happens with the Cerberus. Is in this tournament, if you keep using them, they're just gonna get smashed with the light range, and drone riders just do better in those circumstances. At least that was my experience, and that's why I used them. All right, here comes our Forest Warden matchup. Alright, not too bad. This is drone riders, no country units, just one mage. Yeah, you see, in this setup, Cerberus would do significantly worse because they're going to get pummeled with the light range, and they're just not good against them. Well, we can take a look. What do they have there? Yeah, look, they have no defense whatsoever against light range. They just have minimum damage boost against light range, but in order to do that, they need to get to them first. So they get the full-on pummeling from a light range with no defenses, basically, and their strike back is useless until they get close. So yeah, like the very first volley from the light range is gonna like thin your troops quite significantly, and yeah, you can't just get away from that. Oops, no. Definitely not the tournament for frogs. But a very good tournament for orc strategists. Alright. Here we are getting close. Now that's pretty much the only encounter when I use straight up Cerberus. I mean, outside of the balanced ones, which are basically replacement for acrobats. Yeah, there's one encounter where you have more mages than light range, and that's 3 mage, 2 light range, 1 heavy range, I believe. Yep. And that's where I go with this Cerberus, and they do quite alright here. Even then they take quite a few losses, so that's not perfect matchup for them by any means, but other ones are definitely better with drone riders for me. And the forest wardens are gonna do well against 4 mages and some other scraps. Okay, that drone riders. So 45. Here come on drone riders. And more drone riders. Yep, did take quite a bit of damage there. And yep, that's where I would usually go just the acrobats, but now Cerberus. The acrobats are not cutting it anymore with the counter units. Yep, and they still take some damage, quite a bit there. And drone riders again. Yep, and we still lost quite, basically like half our troops in this particular encounter. So yeah, just because drone riders look better here than Cerberus doesn't mean that they're great. Again, outside of the strategists here, most of the matchups here really suck. As in, like, you will be taking damage, you're not taking quite a bit of damage. And that's just the story of the Scrolls tournament. That's the one you want to get ready for. That's why you have 9 weeks to prepare. And yep, haven't seen benches for a while. There they are. And drone riders. Yep, again, half the troops are gone. So hopefully by now you have seen, I believe, all the matchups that can occur in the Scrolls tournament in the provinces 10 and above. can see they are repeating. Some of them are more frequent than others. But yeah, that's the encounter. And I mean, you could go 50, 60, 70, whatever provinces. You will still get the same encounters, and that's the same, by the way, in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stars, as long as it's above 10, the province number. So the only thing which is changing there is the number of troops that you have on your side and on enemy side. And while in the same star, like in 2-star here, when we're going up, we are kind of balancing them out. So our troops number goes up, enemy troops numbers go up. That's not how it works with the increase of stars. So if you have higher star tournament, well, your number of troops stay the same for the same province number, but the enemies that you're facing, well, that number is going to increase. So the higher star provinces, higher star tournament rounds are tougher. And yeah, that basically means that some of the setups what we see here are potentially, well, first of all of them will experience losses, or more losses, and sometimes significantly more losses than what we see here in 2 stars. But potentially some of them, the sketchiest ones, are not going to be winnable anymore. So you either have to switch to a different troop type, or potentially cater, which I wouldn't recommend on the high levels, as in, like, it's just super expensive. It's okay if it's just 1 or 2, sometimes just in a pinch. But if you have to cater any meaningful number of encounters in like particular matchup across the board, that would be expensive. So yeah, or you have to sorry, that's not Cerberus, that's a strategist matchup. And yeah, or you have to put up more boosts, which again is not, it's not free. Wait, what do we have here? Yeah, drone riders. Yeah, as you can tell, it's easy to get distracted and you just click through literally, well, in this case, 200, so 50 provinces by 4 encounters each. That's 200 fights, even an auto fight. That's a lot of clicking, and not just 2-star round. So I had to do pretty much the same exact thing for 1-star. And obviously, if you want to go further, and like 3, 4, 5, and 6 stars, depending on how many provinces you want to do there, well, that's even more clicking. So yeah, that's why I admire people who can go 20, 25, even 30 nowadays, 1,000 points in a single tournament. I mean, outside of the fact that it's impressive in terms of managing the troops, managing the boosts and things like that. I mean, these are doable things. I mean, I can do that after, if I really put that. I mean, I really want to. But the amount of clicking that you had to deal with in these encounters, or like for that amount of points, are just insane. I mean, even on auto fight, yeah, I'm not doing that. But hey, good for them. I mean, that's genuinely impressive. All right, and I think we're pretty much done here. Drone riders, is that the last one? I think that's, yeah, not the worst. I think that's kind of good finale. Yeah, that was the last 51. We went with drone riders as we supposed to, and yeah, take a look here. Look at the KP bar. That's basically why you want to go. Why you want to go deep as you can, probably. You can afford to, up to 2-star. Remember, we started with 0 here, so this is 215 KPs from playing just 2-star round for 50 provinces. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. That's more than the regular KPs, I mean the hourly KPs you would get through the whole week. Think about that. Alright, so let's do the tally and see how did we do here. For the last 10 provinces. Alright. Okay, and the last just 10 provinces clocked us at about 90 squads. So yeah, that's what happened. So again, just to reiterate, so here's how it went. For the first 20, I'm talking about just 2-star round. So the first 20 provinces, that was about 50 squads. The next 10, so 20, 21 to 30, went slightly less than 50, but comparable, so like 47. The next 10 went 72, and the final 10 went for 90 squads. So all in all, for 50 provinces, in 2-star in the scrolls, just now, I just blown through. Here is the number. Pretty much 350 squads. Oh no, sorry, I was just looking at the round one. No, of course not. About 260 squads just for round 2 for the 2-star. If I add 50 provinces, what I had to do for round 1, unfortunately I can't do just round 2, 2-star. To get the KPs I had to do round 1 too. So altogether that would be 490, so a tad shy of 500 squads that were wasted or got destroyed in going for 50 provinces to 2 stars in the Scrolls tournament at the end of the game in chapter 16. Not with highest boost, but still. So there you have it, and we probably spent, I can go check, but more than an hour, probably can be compressed a little bit, but about an hour of doing just the 2-star rounds, and that would take pretty much the same amount of time for round 1, so that's 2.5 hours just for 2 rounds for 50 provinces. Yeah, but then again, that's once a week, you get tons of KP out of that, and I'm on other things that just not as valuable in those amounts. And yeah, you can consider for yourself if that's something you want to do. Hopefully you get to see, well, you certainly did get to see if you watched all of this, all the matchups that you can encounter. You did see how the my troop matchups worked against them. Your matchups may or may not work the same way, again, depends on many factors. But that's the same way, kind of like you can consider each matchup and think what would be, or experiment actually, what at that particular level of development would work better. And once you establish what is the best setup for each individual encounter or matchup, there's a very limited number of them, then yeah, go crazy and just make sure that you are well prepared for the just amount of troops that you're gonna lose in this Scrolls tournament if you want to go deep. So with that, we may see you in the next tournament or another tournament if I decide to do a similar run. And hopefully it was useful. If it was, hit that like and subscribe for more content like that, or maybe something different. So let me in the comments what you want to see, what you don't want to see, and I'll see you next time. See ya.